Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the TechGuy Podcast, episode number 27. And I know I'm late to the episode, I'm not being consistent with the episodes, but who is nowadays? A $1 trillion company like Apple can't even consistently maintain their designs on their new iOS 26? Yeah, and who am I to blame? But yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, don't take it seriously, but yeah, please, Twitter. So, we are gonna talk about that definitely. That's why I made that joke here. But yeah, seriously, I need to be consistent with my episode uploads. Like this was supposed to come last week, but the reason it did not come last week again, so much fed up with my other work, and I procrastinate sometimes, and I'm like, this episode does not even came. So I'm like, at least I don't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. So I'm recording this on Sunday on 3rd of August, and this will come probably at night today only when I will edit it mostly. So yeah, and I was supposed to watch today the Hungarian Grand Prix F1. I'm a big F1 fan this year, watching it, but yeah, like it was already not exciting for me because I'm as a Red Bull fan, like Max Verstappen is ahead and like Yuki is like on the last on the grid, and I like it did not excite me. But I am I am rooting for Leclerc this time because he made a literally insane pole position like yesterday. If you are a F1 fan, you know it how good he was even with that Ferrari. Yeah, defeating McLaren's is one of the most difficult tasks this year. But yeah, even Max couldn't do it. With Red Bull, like yeah, McLaren's are really good. But I'm hoping to have a good Grand Prix because it is going to be starting like another half an hour. This is going to be not just short, but it will be a short one. I'm trying to make concise more episodes. So yeah, today's headlines we are gonna talk are first is Apple, like their iOS 26 glass liquid glass, the whole design, what is going on that side because it's been 3 months, no, 2 months since the launch, and we definitely kind of and see in the beta. I am not using it like I said when the WW episode came out. Like if you are primary iPhone user and you don't have any other phones, just don't use beta because it is not even a public beta. It is a developer beta. So I hope you get it. But as you can see, I have watched multiple videos. I am seeing screenshots of new how changes are going on, the debate on Twitter about design, and also yeah, a lot of stuff there. The full review of iOS 26 will come in next 2 months when it will publicly get launched, unless and until I get another second phone that I can trust. So like I have two primary phones rather than one. So that is, first we will talk about some Apple news, then some new camera apps that I have been using for past 1 or 2 months. I think there is again a new camera app launch got 2 weeks or in the last week basically. So that is there too. Then we are going to talk about some AI news, specifically with ChatGPT's new agent that they launched last week, and the Grok launch. And rather than going towards launch and how good it is, like I'm testing it, I'm more concerned towards what happened in that whole situation. About it definitely got into memes where people do got a lot of entertainment. I got too with whatever absurd answers it was giving. But yeah, I'm other things with AI, and it which was again a prime example what Gork has shown us right now. Now then we have some new basic Gemini updates given, so we will talk about that, and in the last we will talk about some threads updates and the new Tesla diner that they have worked on, which is actually good. I like the what it is doing there, what Tesla is trying to do. So yeah, These are some of the couple of news we are going to cover in the episode number 27 of the Tech Guy Podcast. So let's just get started. So I think first we should start with the Apple news. Basically, uh, even in that Apple news, there is a small one. We will cover it first, then we will go with the Apple iOS 26. That is the new camera apps I have been using, which is specifically Indigo, and then second one is VSCO. I hope you call it VSCO because I am calling it VSCO for 2 weeks now. But Indigo app is I'm using it for once it is launched by Adobe. It is specifically for only photography, both are apps, not videos, and they have a couple of good features that at least iPhone doesn't have. So if you are an iPhone user, you know that iPhone don't have and doesn't have, even if it has one of the most great cameras in the whole smartphone industry, they don't have pro version for their camera. It's like you can't control the camera shutter speed here. They're like it is not there. I'm thinking they will be launching this year with iPhone 17 or the next year because they're intentionally holding it back. So that is there. So there is no pro version. Like there is no like I don't know about Android what Samsung has, what equivalent of pro version means, but I think having the control over of the camera, and not just I'm talking about filters, but there are a lot of like ISO, then there is shutter speed, then there's like exposure, a lot of stuff. Like I want to control about my cameras, and it does happen to be not have on the iPhone main camera. So both the apps basically you can use Visco and Indigo, both are available publicly. Indigo is by Adobe, and that is I'm using for last 2 months. I think yeah, since June or July I think. So in comparing both, obviously Visco I'm using for just 1 week now, and which is again a good and really com- uh, it is again there are two versions, like one is, but there is also free version. I am obviously using a free version, but as a free version it has lot of good features and lot of good control system. One of the things with the camera features like giving control is going to be always how you can handle the UI, like user interface is much more important there, and how smoothly you can just go with the controlling the settings while taking the photo. So that was important, but both the apps nails it. Indigo had some trouble first 1 or 2 weeks, where it used to get overheat whenever I used to uh, use it, like for more than 1 or 2 minutes, where I don't point and shoot. I try to make, like I try to use ISO, and there are other things in it which is like actually good. It has hits kind of a sensor, like whenever there is a much more exposure of light, it gives you red light. Like I'm not more into cameras, I'm still getting into it, but it has really good features I'm using. Both are really good, and we'll make a video, or we will discuss much more further about both those apps. But if you are a photographer or love, make, like you are a photographer and love taking photos specifically out there, and want to control your, like if you have a great phone like iPhone and you don't have a kind of an pro features, I think both of the apps you should buy, which is actually good you know so both apps are VSCO and Indigo is by Adobe, VSCO is by Visco editor app. Like they have an also Visco also has an editor app, and now then they have also they made their own photography app, which is like again surprising, like two good apps coming in between. Like lot of companies, I think in future, I think Apple is definitely going to bring promote. I know it because they know they have one of the best cameras in the industry, especially camera photos. Their iPhone 6 is one of the best, I will say. Yeah, like it competes, like it justifies the price, I will definitely say. Like the videos I'm taking right now, photo like point and shoot camera does it's really well, you know. So I've I'm wondering what Apple will do it, but right now if you want and you love photography, just try this. Give you my in-depth and final review kind of a thing in 1 or 2 kind of in weeks, depending upon how much I use it ultimately. I will definitely try to make it a specific a segment about these two or another. I will try. If you have any kind of other pro apps, pro photography apps you use it, just let me know in the comment section. I will definitely try it and give my thoughts regarding it. So that was it. Then we will talk about right now what is going on with iOS 26. So in the June month, when Apple released their whole iOS 26 liquid glass, you know my reaction. I actually loved it because it was something different kind of taste coming from Apple. When you are a phone user, you if you know or intentionally or unintentionally, uh, one of the things what happens with this kind of big changes is you will love it or you will hate it, and you will in between if you are like you are not still there convinced if it is good or bad. You know, I was one of the person that whenever I saw that in the WWDC, I just fell in love with it. So it was there, but it had some downsides we talked about in that episode, in the WWDC, where how liquid glass can be bit more confusing when it comes to notification or even control center. So it was there. Now there have been 3 to 4 public beta, not public, sorry, 3 to 4 developers beta release, and one public beta has been released up until this episode. I hope it, because I got the news that public beta was going to release this week, like last week. So in that whole beta releases of developer beta releases, people get to know how liquid glass is. They try it on, and a lot of changes did happen. Like when Apple, like we saw when Apple first launched it with the first beta, the major problems that people talk in the launch was already there. Like we talk about some bugs, and also with the design flaws, how it is designed in terms of notification, in terms of control specifically, was getting not there, right there, in terms of like the shade is not right there. I will say that in terms of that. I'm not finding the good wording here, but the shade, the tone is right not there for liquid glass. So that was the problem. Then Apple changed it, you know. So after changing the whole design, basically, Apple again, like from like into iOS 26 with liquid glass, they changed it and it became frosted glass. So basically, from liquid it frosted glass, like kind of an ice, you can say. Yeah, and you can clearly see the whole design change that they tried, and yeah, a lot of things were going on. Some people said, like, what's the point of then going to liquid glass and doing this whole design scenario change, and what's the point of being, you know changing, giving the us the whole concept of liquid glass if you are going back to this frosted glass. It is not quite liquid glass, and like it doesn't kind of and resembles what you're trying to show us and what you're trying to sell here in the name. At least liquid glass doesn't, like that design was not resembling any kind of liquid glass system. Okay, so then they again changed it to kind of in bit to liquid glass, which was again balanced between a frosted glass and the first version that they saw, which was quite definitely right. So like I said, Apple needs to find the quite right tone for the liquid glass, because it's difficult, you know having that kind of an animations, having that kind of what kind of colorings, what kind of how text size. So it's kind of a lot of small details, text, shadows, or 3D renderings like animations, a lot of things involved. And those things to all come together and work is one of the most difficult tasks. So that's why when I saw the perfect, not it is not a perfect, I will say a in between tone between liquid glass and frosted glass, kind of it convinced. So there are people who are definitely hating over all the design change, and you will always get those people. Like I get it, some people will definitely not like it. Like whole photos app revamped in the last iOS, people did not like it. Some people were like, because what happens with the what happened with the photos app and what is happening with the now liquid glass, I think is it is a whole design change. And one of the things that you have to do in this when it comes to design and UI is stick with the it whatever you want to do. Like going towards liquid glass, don't change just because some people are trying to say it's like, oh, it's so bad, it's not good, or it's terrible, or even why you are even changing, we are good where we are at right now, or some people like not just liking the design, want something different. So you are never going to satisfy any kind of those people who want something different. So I think, yeah, design is so much so kind of a subjective. What you have to do, I believe, whenever you pick up design theme, I believe you should stick with it. And I think that is what Apple should do, because rather than just taking the feedback and changing the design again back in, like I said, when they did with the developers beta, change it to frosted glass and then again changing it to liquid glass kind of, and which just shows like how unprepared they are sometimes. Like that looks like Apple is so unprepared with the liquid glass. Like I know it's again whole public release or public beta, or that was not even a public beta, I know it. But when you see these patterns or you see this chronology, it kind of and gets you where is Apple even ready, or they are just trying to convince people on the internet first of all to where it looks like good or bad, most of the time. Because companies needs to understand not your all audience is on the internet first of all. iPhone is on every person hand, even that person is not on the internet or does not active on the internet, or just critiques any kind of design, they like it or not, both ways. So I think they should stick with it rather than seeing the feedback from the internet. I'm not even saying because, and if try if and I think if they are trying to change the whole design narrative of their whole thing, I think rather than just changing back, I think it's a good design at like at least visually. I don't know how I have not used it. I will use it in next one or 2 months. But what I'm trying to say here ultimately is design is some kind of things that people needs time to get it. Okay, there are some design commonly everyone will just like it. There are some designs I think there people will be definitely will be not good enough for them, they are not into those kind of things. Like I get it. That's why we have so many OS operating systems, so many manufactured cars, smartphones, and so many designs. So it's there out there. So I think what I'm trying to say here is just I'm looking forward to using liquid glass. I hope they stick with the liquid glass and we get something new every year with this new liquid glass. What we are trying to say, I don't want Apple to just change from liquid glass to another, because it just feels like now what they're trying to do, they're just trying to throw this kind of like, okay, see if people like this, they don't just take it back from there, next year another. Like I don't want that. Like when you are into those kind of design, be it kind of a consistent at least next couple of years. So we see the full vision of that design, and like I guess like we know that Apple has so many other problems. What is happening with the AI version of they're trying to buy, like we talked in the last episode too about they're trying to buy Perplexity, which again kind of a big deal for them. What they're trying to do with AI, where definitely a lot of movements going on, we will be covering in next couple of episodes. But yeah, that was whole, I will say, yes, or like thing was going on with the Apple's iOS 26 liquid glass design, kind of an narrate narrative over the past 2 months, which is again I will say in my opinion, just because some of the people on the internet are saying it's bad, don't change it. Uh, it is not even public beta or even public release. I hope we get to see much more for longer period, because it is something kind of it feels different, what they are trying to do. That's one of the things that I expect from Apple, sticking with like they are one of those companies who will stick with the unconventional things that people are not used to, and people will get used to over the period of time. That is what I feel like what Apple do. And like I can say, design is so subjective, and I get it what people are also saying. So let's see what happens in next couple of months. We will be definitely doing a much more review about iOS 26, about new features, and also the design on our main channel and our on this podcast too. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, that's it for I think Apple for now. We will talk about the some AI news regarding ChatGPT new agent, and new Gemini updates, and new Grok update, but we are not going there, but something different to talk about. So let's talk about that. Um, in AI news, let's talk about first ChatGPT, which is again kind of an interesting what they have launched, which I think Sam is talking about, not just Sam, every other AI company is talking about agents for like past year, 1.5 year, and Google has own agents, and now ChatGPT has their own agent now has been launched, and I think a lot of agents will be launched in the next couple of months or even like 1 or 2 years. Every other big companies that is working on AI will have their own agents. Now OpenAI, I think they are talking about agent for like past 3 months, especially teasing in the sense is like talking about it in the like when they first launched Operator. I think that time they talked about agent that they are working in the next version of it, and same they talked about deep research, and now it's here. So ChatGPT's agent or yeah, ChatGPT agent is available for pro users. If you are a pro user, you can definitely go check it out. I am not right now for now, but yeah. So agent is kind of an combination between operator and deep research, as they have said in their linked out in the description. So if you don't know what operator is kind of a virtual computer for yourself. So it is kind of an text base where operator does kind of an tasks for you, you know where it analyze and do tasks for you and give the answers, like when it's like kind of an agent, but it doesn't have the full capabilities what we want as an agent, because deep research is what the other half of operator is, and that's why they have combined operator and agent, sorry, operator and deep research. So deep research helps. If you are a deep research use, like if you ever have used deep research and know what it does, is basically goes on the internet, clicks for you on their websites, interacts with the websites, shows the image, so basically it's kind of a combination of both operator and deep research, where deep research kind of and does much more analyzing, takes its time, and it's once there like there is one virtual and then there is one deep research kind of like analyzing stuff. So combining these both two becomes an agent. That's I think how simply put it if you want to know. So it is kind of an really good. If you want to know some examples, I will also link down the video or stream I did with their people, like couple of employees, and Sam was there in that video. If you can check it out, it's good. So basically, it does tasks for you on a virtual computer, basically on the server. That's how on simple level, simple terms I can explain it. So when I first saw Operator last couple of months ago, you know I thought like this was agent first of all, but no. What agent is capable of and can do, we know on our mind what we wanted to know. What uh, Basically it's kind of a thing that we wanted these AI agents to do, or kind of an what any other I will say, like whenever we saw those futuristic movies or some tech was just not right there. When I first saw Google Assistant, Siri, now there is all Chat voice assistants, like any other AI voice assistants. But it is kind of a that where it does tasks for you basically, and it can go from simple task from doing some clicks one or two and doing it done in 1 or 2 minutes, and it can be complex task finding stuff on the internet or looking for the same price, like searching the internet for you and giving you the answers. Like that can take half an hour, 1 day, 1 or 2 days, depending upon what you ask. Basically depend, like if I ask something product kind of a thing and to find it and let me know if the product is available in this range, then give me a notification. Then it will always run on the background and search on the internet with the product. If it comes in that range, it will get notified me, that kind of a thing. When Google talked about in the search engine, so in the search updates, when they talk about AI, I forgot the name of that, but it's the same here, but on another level. Like it not just does one task at a time. Like it does from one simple task to complex task. That's the simple way to understand it. So it is kind of in that way. Like what you have imagined agent should do, it is that, but it has its own pros and cons they talked about. I'm glad that at least kind of an talking about it in the video specifically, because my major concern with these agents is when I first saw the operator or even Google's agent a couple of months ago in the May, Google I/O was giving your information directly. Like when Google talked about how it will order for you or give yourself kind of an like make this charge for you, order for you kind of, and do the bookings for you. And I'm like, where is this information going from, and if it just ordered that, like you know one of the things this do, and they have talked about in the video in the blog too, is giving out sensitive information. That was I was pointing out to, when agents go out and go out and buy something, they can give you a credit card information and like to buy something. They know if they have it, if you are giving them to access them, and what can happen in that whole situation. Yeah, it's totally fine if it goes to Amazon, one of the biggest e-commerce like stores out there, and it buys from this. It's nothing because it's Amazon, but there are so many fake sites out there. The information can definitely get leaked, and still to this day scammed by putting on their sensitive data from banking to their own personal one on fake websites, which can definitely be really really hard to track. Like I have personally don't know what some sites are legit or not, because it has become so blurry. Sometimes it becomes like which website sometimes is legit and which website is kind of an trying to, especially banking websites. There are so many websites of a same bank, or even commerce, like store websites where there are a lot of information, where there is product buying stuff and you have to put your card information to buy it. Those kind of stuff are really getting out of hands, because it can, like, people can get scammed. And there that in that whole launch where it can get, like, let's, like, same with the, you know same thing with the, when it comes to like right now AI is, it gets, yeah, what we call that word, oh my god, like like it can go wrong towards one website, and it is easily to distract that AI and easily to leak your data with this fake website. They talked about that. That is one of the most difficult things to try, I will say. And the thing is, when they talked about it, they say the one of the precautions they are taking before the agent goes and it buys for you, it will give you a notification, or kind of an, it will ask for your permission to give your details. And like it's kind of an, like an added security they are trying to say. Ultimately it has its cons, and one of the things we have always been we are always talking about is, with these AI agents, those are coming which are scraping the internet, you know doing tasks like this, like ordering stuff, or you know buying something on the internet. Okay, we can, we know that it's like it's going to just, like, we are going on the internet just to buy something here and there. But what about the research paper, or the things that people write on, like one of the biggest concerns about these agents is, if people are not coming to websites to read their stuff, to, like, there are so many research paper out there, so many websites out there who provides information regarding, like, not just I am talking about journalists, like journalists are one part of it, like we are, I'm one part of it, just, there are so many things that people on the internet, like from basic stuff to all complex, like kind of research papers. But if agents come in between the whole, and people are not coming towards those website and not going there, and people are just like, if the agent is just going to scrape that website, then how is that website is going to be sustained, it's kind of, and that what I'm trying to say. It's like the whole, like, not just the dead internet, but whole point of what all the journalists and web owners that are talking about here, even the creators that are talking about, if AI is scraping the internet and collecting data and giving up to the people, what it is going to do when there is no data about it, like, and we know it hallucinates there, when it just blatantly lies sometimes, and you have to double check. And like there is obviously Google, even chat, like every AI chatbot has written there, uh, on the asterisk signs, on a small letters, like don't trust AI, whatever the information it gives you. But what I'm trying to say here is, ultimately, if it goes and scratches the data of all the internet, how the sites are going to work, like the same basic questions we are trying to ask for last years, sorry, 1 or 2 years mostly I am asking from last year. That's the biggest point. And I think I will say on the Verge cast episode of The Beyonder, I think that episode, sorry, no, Decoder, the Decoder episode of Sundar Pichai this year with Patel, I think they talked about where Neela Patel asked about if agents are the future of the internet, how the websites are going to earn money, because advertisements is one of the most biggest thing how internet works. Is like I go to website, I see ads, people ad companies give money to websites to put ads on over their websites, and they earn money through it, through their writing, and people come to, like, it's kind of a views, just like how YouTube works basically. I go on a YouTube page, watch a video, and yeah, that's how it is. So that was the question, is like how companies like Verge, which is also a website, which also has their own website, and they do journalistic stuff about tech, entertainment, which is about, like, they are in everything, how those websites are going to survive if their AI just scratches the informations from them all over and just gives back to the people. And there is no payment in between, like, no, if there is no, people are coming to support it, not support, like just coming to watch it, read it, what is going to be the point of the advertising industry then, on the web, so that was the question Neela Patel asked, which was interesting, and kind of in Sundar Pichai goes tangents from that question, does not like, he does say that it will be kind of like a subscription one, which are going to get paid, which is kind of an, I will say, not a good thing. Like, Google are uncertain, like they say always for being past 1 year, is like how AI overviews has been more kind of an productive, or where people are visiting more websites, and websites are like how, like, they talked about how AI overviews are mm, going to bring more people towards website, and I'm like, I'm using AI overviews for past year, and now AI mode. I'm not going to website. I don't know what they are talking about, and I'm a regular browser on the internet, regular on day-to-day basis. So I don't know what the solution is for all this. Solution is simple: do not scrape the data, and whenever we ask something on ChatGPT about something, uh, just give the websites, not just link will be there, but also to read something full. I'm just blabbing now. There is like lot of things going on. I think ultimately what happens is like people suffer in between. Like the big companies, when the AI data scraps, individual people, independent people, journalists, when the AI, like, are now YouTube and Substack both has the option where you can opt out of it, where if you want to give your data towards third party AI, basically third party website basically means AI to other company to train on your data, which you can opt out or opt in. Obviously people are going to opt out, we don't want our data to be scraped. And the thing with this is it even listening to us? Like, I don't know if AI is coming to my YouTube channel right now and scraping my data. Like, if YouTube is scraping my data, giving it to Google Gemini to train it, and it's obvious. Sometimes it is like they have one of the most biggest data out there. Google has in their hand, which is YouTube, and it's created. And companies have done it. Like we talked about how last year companies have stealed data transcripts from biggest YouTube channels, from Mr. Beast and KBHD, where they have basically for free of cost, or like basically what is happening here, if you can see here what it is happening, there is an AI company which is scraping data from the people who are making stuff, which can be reading, web reads, videos, art, whatever you call it, and it is scraping the data from it. And the company who needs AI companies and the companies like Apple, Nvidia, which needs those huge amount of data, that AI company is selling that same data towards those companies like Google, AI, sorry, Apple. So what is that? This middle thing, like that's like what every other AI company is. ChatGPT, OpenAI, basically OpenAI, Meta, uh, Gemini, like they are the company in the middle who is scraping data on the internet and giving that data and processing it to themselves and giving you the answers. Now, if you don't go towards those website, towards those videos, what's the point of them making those videos, or even if you're not going to that video is even people will go and at least watch it. Like what about video reads, writing stuff, what is going to happen to that? So we are talking about this stuff for like past 1.5 year about it and what's the solution of it. And couple of solutions are there. And like we talked about like how YouTube now has an option where you opt out of it, like you're not allowing basically third party AI to take data from your videos. Or even like companies like Substack offer the same feature too. And I hope every other, like if ChatGPT's AI agent is going to Verge, I hope Verge a kind of fee out of, let's say, start ChatGPT starts kind of a subscription if they have subscription for pro users and the kind of an ad. If I pay ChatGPT agent for like say $100 a month or couple of months, I don't know how much it is, but for a month, and like let's say it is going out towards this website like Verge, Bloomberg, or 9 to 5 Mag, Google, going and do search for me and giving the data. I hope those websites are also getting paid if that agent is scraping the data on my subscription, on my $100 that I'm giving to that. So basically that middle company, OpenAI, is getting the all money, and just that's it. And people who are making actual stuff are going to win this whole battle. And that is the whole worst situation here it is. So I am in that situation right now. Basically in future we can be, I can be there too, like videos can be there too. So what ultimately the solution is there are multiple ones like I talked about, or even like in the decoder episode of Nilay Patel and Sundar Pichai, they talked about how AI agents, if there are agents surfacing over all the internet, how will the websites will get basically revenue, how website will grow. And they talked about how some money of the subscription can also be given if agent is coming to to those websites like Verge or any other. Then that agent has to pay a certain amount of fee to access that websites. So what what I'm trying to say. So basically, you directly going to that website, there is an agent who is doing work for you, and now that agent needs to get paid by OpenAI for Verge. So also Verge also get paid. So there is kind of an big, that is one kind of solution. There is another kind of solution. If AI is scraping data, we can give you our data and you just pay for our data. That is couple of companies that are doing those, which are doing it for past 6 months. We have also covered that, like there are a couple of companies where selling, getting creators and selling their data and giving a share amount of money towards creators too if they are getting the data and making money from it. So there are a lot of multiple things there to talk about. And no company is like and stepping up about content creators, readers, book writers, journalists, especially on the web, where these AIs are scratching the whole data. So that's the whole uh, you know kind of a messed up situation we are right now, and we are ongoing. I think it will take again 6 to 1 year to again get clear idea of how internet is going to, of how basically this part of internet that we are right now is going to survive with this AI. And I hope we get kind of at least a solution, or see a kind of a path, a clear path of what kind of an internet is going through. So that's there is. I think we got a lot of a we I think there was a lot of tangent, but let's talk about Grok. It's such a weird name, but Grok 4 has now announced. Couple of weeks has been gone. 2 weeks, I think, as far as I remember, when this episode will come. Now we are not going to talk about the things like what it was doing when it was launched, and the insane, absurd stuff it was talking to, on the Twitter, and people were taking insane memes, and like we had a good week that time. But I think XAI released a statement regarding why Grok, usually happen this, like why Grok was going towards this kind of memes like Hitler one, Mecha Hitler, or giving absurd, far right kind of a thought, extremist thoughts in terms of jokes, you can say sometimes, so why it was giving. And one of the most answers that, at least I'm glad they are transparent about it, and they talk or they tweeted about is this. They talked about Gork, like they talked about in the tweet. Gork is like, we know that Gork is being trained on Twitter data, basically. Basically, just like what Meta is training their AI, I think Gork is being trained on Twitter data, which announced couple of months, like on the month of, I think, last couple of months ago by Elon, which we knew. So there it is. And also Twitter is using also Gork algorithm now. So the Twitter algorithm has changed. So I don't know if you find it good or not. I'm not finding it good algorithm. Like my For You page becomes resets if I don't use Twitter for 2 days. But yeah, I'm not going to that tangent right now. So Corp is trained on Twitter data, we know that, and it's also aligned with more to Elon Musk views as he is the owner, and it reflects it's concerning for me. So basically, in that tweet, they talked about how the reason it can also happens towards, because it is getting information, like it is reflecting thoughts of Elon Musk, and I'm like, why? It's so concerning, when they talked about it like that. I'm like, why an AI has to reflect at least someone else's thoughts? A person which is Elon Musk, which is not going into that direction about how and what his thoughts are. I don't think it is good idea where AI has its own reflection by specifically one or two person, or I think AI should has its own principles that are basically written well, and it should remain in those principles and act towards it, rather than reflecting from all the world from Elon Musk, which we know what kind of thoughts he has, which extreme thoughts he has sometimes, about political views and any other stuff. But ignoring that stuff, AI should not be basically reflection of thoughts of someone person. Okay, AI, if it is a kind of a reflection, it's just then trained over some kind of basic chatbot we had couple of years ago before AI. Okay, if AI don't have its own thought process, and it's reflecting from Elon Musk and his whatever the tweets he does on the Twitter, okay, multiple times, 10 to 15. Like, why? Then why would I use that Grok as an AI, and why would anyone trust that AI, which his views is one towards according to that one person, you know? Yeah, and even if it's kind of a person who is good, who people love, I'm not talking about real life. Like even if AI is making reflection, having his thoughts, or you can say it's like its thoughts are reflecting towards something that someone in personality that has good for over the years or passed away, and that person Gork is reflecting or Gork is trained over, which is ultimately shift from the points about how AI is actually, you know, like AI is the reason why AI is different from any other chatbot before a couple of years ago, because it has its own thought process in the same as like how it like how it contains and gets the data and thinks over it. Okay, that's why AI is kind of a powerful device where it is kind of a thinking machine. That's why we are talking about, here. So if we have not kind of a principles over how AI and what it and how should it talk in terms of at least it should be self-contained, like how Anthropic has their own AI principle and that whole AI works according to that principle book. It is on their website. You can go and see. So Claude is how they his have its own kind of a characteristics, and one of the thing that we are talking for past 6 months and how AI wraps around your characteristics and what you like specifically, and I'm like, that is one of the concerns we are happening right now. But at least having some ground towards some having its own ground thoughts towards certain subject and certain things should be there. And that's why I think like Claudia, like what Anthropic does is really good, because they have their own AI kind of an book of principles, where it has its own limits and thoughts, where can get, even if the person is trying to manipulate AI, it will not do that. It will not go into that direction. That is a safer option for people to get not manipulate or to that AI and get self-contained, like I am right just because AI said I'm right now. Because most of the AIs that we are using right now is kind of an wrapping towards kind of an going towards an algorithm, like how every person has its own algorithm towards on the internet, on the specifically social media, uh, pages where you're watching reels have any kind of different algorithm for different people, just like it is happening on AI. It trains over whatever you want to know, and it talks over how you want to talk, like what kind of it will train so better itself, depending on what kind of answers you like about it will give you answer those kind of types, so that is what an AI is right now. It is becoming towards more algorithmic and personalization. Again, it is okay even in that, but at least it should have its own ground on certain in any topics at certain level. It should not get manipulated into thinking that okay, always saying that you are right here to that user who is that AI using. So that is what I'm trying to say here. So if Gork is whole personality revolves around one person that is even real, that is Elon Musk, how you could trust whatever the thoughts it is giving towards certain topics that you ask on Twitter, sorry. So like Gork has become Twitter's kind of an like Jarvis kind of a thing. We know that. It's like whatever stuff is happening in like whatever trending is happening, whatever news is happening, we just click Gork there and just let him to explain us. And if his thoughts are towards some kind of Elon Musk tweets a certain person, and now they have blatantly said it is Elon Musk, And with the wording, if it reflects Elon Musk, how it is going to be unbiased and give its own thoughts. Now they have definitely changed it, okay, and it has been now like same as before, like trying to be doing, trying to understand or let us user know understand there are both sides to this, what is happening controversial or political topic, you know. But furthermore, we need to know more about these AIs and how what their principles are, and first of all, not trusting fully. I see so many like people use Grok so much on the internet. Even I use it because there are some trends happening, some political topics happening besides from tech, and I want to know the information, but I'm too lazy to go and search at least on the whole internet or what the stuff is. So God helps me in that, where what the mediocre stuff is happening on the nerd in the pop culture, where I don't want to spend at least half an hour. God just saves that half an hour for me and just explain what is happening in that topic in 5 minutes. Okay, so that's there, you know, because if it goes into reflection on something, it becomes bias, you know, and it is always bias. Like if and what we want from AI is not bias. At least first of all, whenever we ask AI, what this information is, what is this whole thing is happening here, I don't want bias answer. At least I just want basic information, like this is happening, this person has said this, and this is the conclusion, that is what is happening, rather than giving some kind of poor wording and letting know that this side is good, this side is not, like this side is good, this side is bad, and this side is dominating these things, like it can goes and destroys the whole kind of an what is going on, and just gives kind of whole not just misinformation, but kind of an subjective take towards and what are an objective information that should AI be given, especially Grok, because it is definitely easy to change and tweak AI, where it can go towards something far right in terms of definitely kind of an in terms of thoughts far left. I don't want that. We don't want that any kind of AI to should be that changing should be done, especially towards that some person, and that one person should be Elon Musk. First of all, it should not be trained from it should not be reflection from any kind of person, I believe, but at least kind of making objectively, and like what Gork is being used right now for now. And the major thing that Gork is being used for now is for basic information what is happening on the Twitter, because Gork has access to it all. Okay, now if I'm asking Gork and it doesn't give us kind of an objective kind of an information dump on me, and kind of have us kind of a reflection towards that information, towards that information, that topic, I like it is kind of an manipulating people on the social media, on the network. And Elon Musk has done it past, like we know he has changed Twitter algorithm to boost his own account, his own tweets all over the internet, push certain stuff of tweets, uh, political agendas, and we don't want to go there, at least for now, unless and until we have concrete examples of it, because the fiasco was happening, like whole stuff was happening. I was saying it, and I wanted to cover, but I didn't cover that week. The episode did not came. So what I'm trying to say here is ultimately is AI, first of all, should have its own thoughts, principles, which should not change at whatever point, and whatever things has been thrown towards it, and whatever company's belief system is, it should have its own thoughts, own principle, like I said, and not been reflection towards one person, okay, of all people in the world. It's like one of the most crazy things that has happened in the last couple of weeks, and it's a live example how it can be a manipulative thing. When people are just relying on AI information all around the world, especially on social media, and people are quick, like even before AI, people are quick to judge any kind of news, because we know people just see always one side and just start thinking about it, like see couple of comments and see couple of videos about one thing and will just blast about it. But trying to understand both sides is important as always. That's why journalists are there. And now, and we know how people are on the internet, just like, they will one like they will say, oh, I did not know this, my bad, and they will move on you know but the effect is does on overall giving the misinformation and kind of an whole misinformation stuff, which again can go so many bad ways. So I hope it does not happen in future. And it just shows how relying on AI completely over, it's like, you are relying on one person kind of a thing. It's like your whole media, whole kind of an world is that one person, that is your AI, that is your training towards. So I hope you should think in a that way, rather than believing that what that person is saying to me is always true. Trying to like have your own thoughtfulness always on. Don't switch off your brain just because AI has said right now. Okay, especially on Twitter, on small news, where it corrects and gives you information about something. At least double check about every time and passing on whenever you are passing on the information, because it's like I said, trusting on one person is never good. Okay, that one person cannot be always right. So that's there. So that was about Grok that I want to talk about, concerning things, and it can happen towards any company. But like I said, Grok, I'm not surprised it happened in the Grok, because Elon Musk, one of those guys, is like have done before with the Twitter algorithm, and it was not surprising when I saw it, but it is concerning when it comes to AI again. So yeah, there it is for you. So don't blindly. New Gemini updates are there. If you are a Gemini user, especially pro user, there are new gem is been added in the Gemini. So gem is kind of an special chatbots, like how ChatGPT has their own GPTs. uh, Google has their own called gems. So if you have used it, it is like it's a new productivity planning. Will be available to everyone, but right now it is for, I think, pro users, like people who are paid for. Now Gemini can do schedule actions, like you can tell, like Gemini can do actions. Basically what it means is, if you have set certain kind of action when the like in the 9 a.m in the morning or 10 a.m in the morning, give you this kind of summary on daily, on Monday to Friday, about certain things. It will notify you those kind of actions, or do turn on alarm at like those kind of thing. I hope you know uh, if you have connected apps. So right now I think Google apps is only available on those kind of stuff. So I think information stuff and maps, Gmail, like basically you can ask Gemini what are the, like summarize the whole Gmails, whatever the mails are there in one go, and give it to me every 9 a.m in the morning. That kind of task can be done now. If you are a pro user and using it, let me know in the comment section. There is now Maps, sorry, Google Apps can be integrated with Gemini. So now basically all Gemini Google apps can be integrated with Gemini. And if you have not done, do it, because it knows more about you. So if you are trying to make it more personalized towards your workflow and want to know much more, it can be better, you know. And yeah, and you can make up to 8-second videos in new VO 3. I have not used VO. I don't know. I will see if anyone on the tech one it makes a detailed video about it and will let you know about it, because I'm not going into VO right now. So yeah, I think yeah, that's it for AI news on this podcast. We will take a break here and we will talk about a short talk about Tesla Diner and threads. New update, which I'm that we will talk about after a break. So yeah, we will meet after a break and we will talk about Tesla Diner and threads. Welcome back. Let's talk about Tesla Diner that they launched last week. And yeah, if you have seen the images on Twitter when they launched it, kind of an futuristic what Tesla typically does with their every product, and they nailed it. At least when it comes to design, Tesla is one of those companies which is always known in for the futuristic stuff. That like obviously they always talk about EVs, self-driving. Those is their main stuff, but you always when you see Tesla, even in the interiors, they try to do something different when it comes to designing too. So like you have seen their half wheel steerings in the cars, and kind of a different stuff that they do in terms of interior designs too. And same with the Cybertruck was same for me. When I saw Cybertruck, it is cool. I don't know how practical it was, but in terms of design, it does look cool, does look cool. It does look futuristic, kind of. And when you draw one of those cars, or when you see cars in the futuristic films, you know those kind of stuff. But here they have launched a new Tesla Diner. It is for everyone, as they have mentioned. Everyone can come here. It does have an NAS charger, NACS. So basically, uh, everyone, if like now EVs in at least in America are moving towards the NSCS, that is mostly the charging that Tesla is, because the Tesla network is so much. I think EVs are providing and coming towards the whole the point basically. It's just like what Android and Apple was basically having USB-C. That is what NAS is. Having same kind of charging point for everyone. Same like what Android or what Apple did, like having kind of an one USB charging system at least. At least everyone can use at least one charging system, so USB-C type. So that is kind of for you. And it happened last year, so we covered it actually. It has its all different story. You can go check it out. But Tesla Diner is kind of an futuristic looks. If you have seen a couple of pictures, there are. I think I will link down to video about on the Twitter. I found about from Insider. I will say what's Insider from that account, where he goes and basically give you kind of a review, not review, just shows you what kind of feel you get whenever you go. It is open for everyone, not just Tesla drivers or any kind of Tesla owners. Every EVs, and it has a lot of EV charging stuff. Like from the picture, I can see it is kind of a 15 to 20 charging system. Yeah, so that is there. Fast charging. It kind of look futuristic. It was, and obviously all over Tesla branding you can see there, and you can see the design, and you see is it Tesla? Yeah, it is Tesla. Like it is that kind of obvious to see it, but it is a good design. I love it. Uh, there were Optimus robots in there serving popcorn, and I'm like interesting. Uh, Again, seeing what 1 year has happened when we last time saw when that event of Tesla done by Tesla about Optimus, where we like the movements again doesn't kind of let me be sooner or later, especially humanoid robots. I will say there are other robots that are by Boston Dynamics that you can see the dog one. They have such a great balance. or kind of and stuff that they're doing well there. But in terms of movement right now, what Optimus we have seen done, or at least all humanoid robots I have seen, it definitely is not up to the date if it can goes forever, because it seems like it can lost its own balance. I can see, uh, like same like it's like kind of a toddler, like it's like yeah toddler, like where it's trying to stand and you can feel that if there is a kind of an imbalance it can fall down. And I don't even know how it is working in terms of movements and in terms of voice, so yeah, that is there. uh, I will link down that video if you want to go and check it out. The food is normal, just like every other fast burgers, I will say. So it look cool though. I love it. That's why I want to talk about it. You want to check it out. I will link down the video that you can see, which covers most of the thing, everything. There are cool like couple of cool Teslas I saw first time do through that video, so you can go check that video out. Yeah, I don't know what was the purpose of it. I don't know what Tesla is getting into it. Is it just kind of an in California thing, or it is going to be all over America, or kind of a different business Tesla is entering, like fast food business? Like Tesla already had kind of an business types with the I think I'll remember where Tesla charging, where they have tie-ups with the restaurants. So basically whenever you are traveling through your Tesla, whenever you go and charge your Tesla outside, because it takes time to charge. Even with the fast charging, it can take 40 to 50 minutes to charge it. And not from 0 to 100. 0 to 100 takes time, but at least from half 40 to 50 minutes. And they had tie-ups with the restaurants. I think I have seen those videos where it is specifically for Tesla, because before NAS, or before charging got kind of an one type. Before it was kind of a specific charging stations were there, and wherever there is kind of a Tesla charging station, you can see there was a restaurant where you can go and hang out, because Tesla knew one of the EV companies knew one of the biggest problems they have is going to be the fueling one, the charging station, which can be hard in the situation like people who are random, people who just want to go and they don't want to waste their time or even take breaks sometimes. So in that way, diesels and petrols are one of the best, but they know and they found out the solution for that. So that's why associating something to spend time, quality time or good time. So that's why Tesla has some of the most biggest screen in between cars. So even EVs, all EVs have them, because they want you to have kind of an entertain yourself, not get bored in a car or with the EV car and just sell it. That's kind of an marketing strategy, at least for now. EV, when unless and until it gets in terms of charging or replaceable batteries, you can just replace the batteries, or that kind of stuff. But uh, I don't know, they are going to go franchisee like in terms of like every state, or like kind of an it is it going to be much more like McDonald's, like every state has a couple of those kind of diner ones at every cities or every areas, specific areas, like this area at least 50-kilometer area, there will be at least 50 to 100-kilometer areas, one diner will be there at least, just like how McDonald's is. Like 100 kilometers or more, I'm saying, like it is really more, but like at least 50 depend whatever you do. But what I'm trying to say, like I don't know what the future of it is, but right now it looks cool. You there uh I don't know if you check it out or not, but it's like I kind of love cool building stuff, cool stuff. When I look at it, that's it. That's why I want to talk about it. Yeah, there is nothing more to it. That's it. Now, let's talk about some basic update or kind of a thing where thread is kind of going towards its own app, which is good, which I wanted from the start. Basically, now thread is getting its own DM system, that now you can DM your friends, your followers, like followers can DM you and you can DM your friends who are on specifically threads, which I always wanted to have, because threads was when first time when threads was created, like 2 years ago, when the thread was launched, it was kind of an associated with the Instagram. So basically people who all have Instagram app by default had basically threads. So that's how they broke the record of most number of users in less amount of time, like 100 million users got in like 7 days or a couple of days, I don't know, but yeah. But threads is kind of an was just associate or just sub part of an Instagram, and at a slow rate they try to give new and new features towards threads, which was great. They now have special analytics for just for threads, and if you are posting regularly on threads as a creator or just as a no, if you want to know more about your data, it has its own special analytics, so that's there now. It has been more updated. There is now more DMs. Someone asked on threads for Adam, who is basically who handles both create Instagram and thread. Basically he talks about, like someone talks about, is threads is now separated from Instagram, and does threads have a special team? And he replies, threads is a part of Instagram, even though it still has its own bigger team, and it is getting separated. Like separated in the sense is like kind of an giving space between Instagram and threads and keeping it but much more kind of an, because Meta definitely used as a good marketing strategy for threads to grow it more and more through Instagram, and they know now their future strategy will definitely will be kind of an grow threads individually, how we can grow threads much more, because they know if Twitter doesn't improve much more, there are other apps lining up, like Blue Sky is definitely there, Mastodon is there, which even though they have less numbers, they are trying to give you a really good kind of and good features, people, good system, algorithm, not just one algorithm that pushes like what is going on Twitter. Rather than that, threads is kind of an, and I'm not saying those are neutral, but giving kind of an tools that Twitter has taken away from the people, and people are angry towards certain things on Twitter. There are a lot of stuff, but if Twitter doesn't follow that quickly, I think threads is going into the future of kind of, and I will say what Twitter was a couple of years ago, 5 to 6 years or 7 years ago, where I think every person on threads can be much like people will migrate from threads, Twitter to threads, especially because Twitter is more kind of a news headache, news kind of an kind of an, I will say social media, and thread is kind of an just social media basically. It is not news, and you still get your news from kind of, will say, from X, that is Twitter. So I think if X doesn't catch up or don't try to be much more because just we saw that the CEO, she's been out of X now for like a month now, so it is kind of an like situation not going well there too. Like if threads, and I think specifically Blue Sky, uh, makes, I can't find the word. If threads and Blue Sky double downs on the situation of X, Twitter, what is happening right now, this is the great time, and I think it's a long game. I will definitely say not in 6 months, not even in a year. It's kind of a 5 year plan, I will say, definitely for basically Blue Sky and threads. I don't know how many people does use Mastodon. If you are a Mastodon user, tell me below. But basically both of this platform does have basic they can do and come as level as good as Twitter and even surpasses it. That is there. And you never know what dark horse can be there, like new social media app coming. I want a really good social media for photos that is still not there. There is no competition trying to there is no person like trying to make a photos app. I really want it, but I hope someone makes it. Instagram has become too much of a clutter. But yeah, that was the update for, I will say, threads. We will talk much more about it in the next couple of episode later when something new happens. This is I think it for this episode of the Tech Guy Podcast. I will see you in the next week, Friday. Try to be on Friday. Okay, I'm promising it, and I hope I keep my promise. But I will try to keep it on consistent basis every Friday. And also, like I said, I'm working on a show. It will be there. That show is going to be there. And subscribe to my newsletter. Like newsletter are going to start from this Wednesday. And if you are as a software developer, you are an engineer, and you want to know much more about what is happening in the industry and what practical usage can you do with this AI. I am starting my own projects there and giving my own thoughts about AI much more deep and kind of an behind the scenes, kind of an behind the projects, what is happening, because I'm doing app development, web development there. So I will see you there if you are one of those person who want to learn, how it is going to kind of a skill you want to develop, or just want to have fun, because it's ultimately free, not charges there too. Yeah, so yeah, it is available. If you are a Substack user, go do subscribe. And if you are still not a subscribe user, it's okay. You will get every other weekend, like you will get my newsletter on every Wednesday on my newsletter, on your inbox, whatever email you have to subscribe. So yeah, that's it. This is it for this week's episode of the Tech Guy Podcast. I will see you guys in the next week. I hopefully be on Friday. Okay. So yeah, see you. See ya.